Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Timeless Talks. Who is his Siri? I am your host and moderator, David Lee, and today, we have a very special guest with us. He is a literary legend, an esteemed author, and a renowned humorist. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Mark Twain. Mark, it's an honor to have you here today. You've left an indelible mark on the literary world with your wit, wisdom, and unforgettable characters. Let's dive deep into your life and unravel the enigmatic persona of Mark Twain. Are you ready?
Thank you, David. I'm delighted to be here. Fire away with your questions.
Fantastic. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? Could you please introduce yourself to our audience? Your early life was marked by various occupations and adventures, including piloting steamboats on the Mississippi River. How did these experiences shape your perspective and influence your writing?
Thank you, David, for having me on this delightful episode of Timeless Talks. I am Mark Twain, the man who has been called a literary legend, esteemed author, and renowned humorist. Allow me to take you on a journey through my remarkable life. I was born on November 30, 1835, in the quaint town of Florida, Missouri. As a child, my family moved to the great state of Hannibal, a place that would forever leave an indelible mark on my heart and shape my writing. Growing up along the mighty Mississippi River, I witnessed the bustling riverboat traffic and met fascinating characters who would later find their way into my stories. My youth was filled with adventure, mischief, and a thirst for knowledge. I had a knack for getting myself into trouble, much to the chagrin of my loving parents. But those mischievous escapades and encounters with the people of Hannibal provided the raw material for my literary endeavors. In my early years, I worked as a printer's apprentice, a job that introduced me to the power of words and ignited my passion for storytelling. But it was my time as a riverboat pilot on the Mississippi that truly opened my eyes to the vast world around me. The sights, sounds, and stories of the river became the canvas upon which I would paint my tales. As I ventured further into adulthood, I explored the world beyond my hometown. I traveled extensively, experiencing life in cities such as New York and San Francisco. These journeys exposed me to a diverse range of cultures, people, and perspectives, enriching my understanding of the human condition and fueling my literary imagination. It was during these years that I honed my distinct writing style, a blend of humor, satire, and social commentary. I sought to challenge the status quo, to expose the foibles of society, and to offer a mirror through which readers could reflect upon themselves and their world. Through my novels, essays, and speeches, I aim to provoke thought, to entertain, and to shed light on the complexities of the human experience. And in doing so, I found great joy in tickling the funny bone while also revealing deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. So, dear audience, I stand before you today as a man who has lived a life full of adventures, laughter, and contemplation. I invite you to join me on this journey as we delve into the depths of my writings, explore the nooks and crannies of my mind, and unearth the timeless wisdom that resides within the pages of my works. Thank you for having me, David, and thank you all for joining us on this exciting episode of Timeless Talks. Let us embark on this voyage together, where the past meets the present, and where the words of yesterday continue to resonate in our lives today.
Mark, your works, such as The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, have become timeless classics, capturing the essence of American life in the 19th century. However, some critics have accused your writings of perpetuating racial stereotypes. How do you respond to these criticisms? And how do you believe your intentions have been misinterpreted?
Well now, that's a question that has danced its way through many a conversation. You see, my dear friend, the realm of literature is a vast and intricate tapestry, woven with countless threads of interpretation and perception. And it's true, there are those who have taken issue with certain aspects of my writings, particularly in regard to racial stereotypes. Now, let me assure you, my intentions were never to perpetuate or endorse any harmful stereotypes. Quite the contrary, in fact. In The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, I sought to depict the realities of the time I lived in, a time marred by the stain of slavery and deep-rooted prejudices. I wanted to illuminate the injustices of society, to hold up a mirror to the flaws and hypocrisies that plagued us. In Huckleberry Finn, specifically, I aimed to portray the journey of a young boy, Huck, who gradually recognizes the humanity in his friend Jim, a runaway slave. It was a bold statement for its time, challenging the prevailing beliefs and highlighting the innate goodness that can exist in the face of societal expectations. However, I understand that literature is not a static entity, but a living, breathing creation that evolves alongside society. What may have been acceptable or thought-provoking in the past may be seen through a different lens today. the lens of progress, understanding, and the recognition of the importance of diverse voices. So, while I stand by the intentions and messages within my works, I acknowledge that some of the language and character portrayals may no longer align with our modern sensibilities. It is my hope that readers can engage with my stories in a broader context, appreciating the overall themes of friendship, freedom, and the triumph of the human spirit. Criticism, my friend, is the oxygen of growth and enlightenment. It allows us to reassess, to challenge our own perspectives, and to learn from our mistakes. And in this ever-changing world, it is essential that we listen, that we strive for inclusivity, and that we continue to move forward together. So, let us not shy away from the conversations that make us uncomfortable, but rather embrace them, for it is through open dialogue and understanding that we can forge a brighter, more compassionate future. Thank you for bringing this question to the forefront, for it is a reminder that our words have the power to shape not only our own times, but the legacy we leave behind. In the immortal words of a fellow wordsmith, the man who does not read has no advantage over the man who cannot read. Let us continue to read, to question, and to grow.
Throughout your career, you were known for your sharp wit and satirical writing. Some have described your humor as biting and irreverent, while others have hailed it as genius. How do you strike a balance between humor and social commentary in your works? And what role do you believe satire plays in society?
My good sir, you've hit upon a subject near and dear to my heart. Humor. What a delightful and powerful tool it can be. You see, I've always believed that laughter has the remarkable ability to both entertain and enlighten, to tickle the funny bone while also challenging the status quo. When it comes to striking a balance between humor and social commentary, I've found that wit can serve as a spoonful of sugar, making the bitter medicine of truth go down just a bit easier. You see, satire, my friend, is like a mirror held up to society's face. It reflects our follies, our hypocrisies, and our absurdities with a twinkle in its eye. Through satire, I aim to expose the inconsistencies and injustices that often go unnoticed or are accepted without question. By wrapping my critique in humor, I can invite readers to engage with difficult topics without feeling attacked or defensive. It's as if I'm saying, here, have a good laugh, but take a moment to ponder the underlying message. Humor, when wielded thoughtfully, can disarm even the staunchest of critics. It has the power to bridge divides, to bring people together in shared laughter, and to open the doors of communication. And in those moments of laughter, when our hearts are light, truths can seep in and take root. Now, don't mistake my wit for mere frivolity. Satire, at its core, is a call to action. It is a means of shining a light on the darkness, of challenging the status quo, and of urging society to strive for better. By highlighting the absurdities and contradictions of our world, we can ignite conversations, provoke critical thinking, and spur change. But satire, my friend, must always walk the fine line between jest and judgment. It must never lose sight of its purpose, to inspire, to provoke, and to uplift. It is not meant to belittle or demean, but rather to challenge and question. And it is in this delicate dance that satire finds its true power. So, let us cherish the humor that sparks introspection, that uncovers uncomfortable truths, and that encourages us to be better, kinder, and more compassionate. Let us recognize the role of satire as a mirror that reflects our flaws and offers us the opportunity to grow. In the words of a wise man, against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. So, my friend, let us wield our laughter as a force for good, as a catalyst for change, and as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, a smile can be the greatest weapon of all.
One of your famous quotes is, "The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." This humorous remark caused quite a stir at the time. Can you shed some light on this incident, and tell us how it feels to be the subject of false rumors and speculation?
Well, it seems the rumors of my demise have indeed traveled far and wide. I must say, it's rather amusing to find oneself in the center of such a whirlwind of speculation and false reports. You see, my friend, it all began with a simple mix-up. A case of mistaken identity that spiraled into a sensational tale. Back in the year 1897, a journalist in London published an obituary prematurely declaring my departure from this mortal coil. Imagine my surprise when I woke up one morning to find myself reading my own obituary in the newspaper. Now, most folks would have been perturbed, perhaps even indignant, but not me. No, sir. I saw it as an opportunity for a little mischief. In true Twain fashion, I penned a letter to the editor, tongue firmly planted in cheek, to set the record straight. I quipped, "The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." And just like that, the words took on a life of their own, spreading like wildfire, and forever etching themselves into the annals of history. But you ask how it feels to be the subject of such false rumors and speculation. Well, my friend, I must admit it tickles my funny bone to no end. It's like being privy to a grand joke, with the whole world as the audience. I suppose it's a testament to the power of the press and the curious nature of human beings, always hungry for the latest tidbit of news, even if it's not entirely accurate. You see, the incident taught me a valuable lesson about the nature of truth and perception. How easily the truth can be twisted and distorted, how swiftly rumors can spread like wildfire. It reminded me of the importance of skepticism and critical thinking, of questioning what we hear and seeking the facts for ourselves. But beyond that, my friend, it serves as a reminder to embrace the absurdities and idiosyncrasies of life. Life, after all, is a grand theater, and we are all players upon its stage. Sometimes the lines get blurred, reality and fiction intertwine, and we find ourselves in the midst of a delightful farce. So I say let the rumors fly, let the tabloids speculate. As for me, I shall continue to revel in the joy of laughter, in the power of a well-timed quip, and in the knowledge that even in the face of false reports, the truth will always find its way to the surface. After all, as another one of my famous quotes goes, truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't. So, my friend, let us raise a glass to the folly of human nature, to the ever-spinning wheel of rumor and speculation, and to the humor that can be found even in the most unexpected places. Cheers.
Mark, your writing has touched the hearts of millions and continues to inspire generations. However, as a human being, you must have faced your fair share of personal challenges and struggles. Can you share with us a difficult moment from your life and how you overcame it?
Well, my dear friend, life's river has indeed carried me through its fair share of turbulent waters. While my tales may often be filled with mirth and mischief, it is true that even a humorist such as myself has faced personal challenges and endured moments of struggle. One particular difficult moment from my life that comes to mind is the bankruptcy I faced in the late 1800s. You see, despite the success of my writings, I found myself entangled in some ill-fated business ventures. The financial storm clouds gathered, and before I knew it, I was left in the wake of a financial tempest. Now, I must admit, it was a bitter pill to swallow. The weight of debts and obligations hung heavy upon my shoulders, and the prospect of starting anew seemed daunting. But I have always been a firm believer in facing adversity head-on, armed with a hearty dose of wit and determination. So, in the face of financial ruin, I set out on a worldwide lecture tour, traveling far and wide to regale audiences with my humorous anecdotes and stories. It was not only a means to support myself and repay my debts, but also an opportunity to share laughter and inspiration with others. Through those lectures, I discovered the resilience of the human spirit, the power of humor to uplift even the heaviest of hearts. And gradually, with each step I took on that tour, the burdens that weighed me down began to lighten. Laughter became my saving grace, and the audiences became my companions on the road to redemption. In time, my lectures proved successful, and I managed to pay off my debts, emerging from the shadows of bankruptcy. But it wasn't just a triumph over financial adversity. It was a triumph of the indomitable human spirit, the ability to turn hardship into an opportunity for growth and reinvention. You see, my friend, life is a series of peaks and valleys, and it is in those valleys where we often find our truest strength. It is through the crucible of adversity that we discover our resilience, our capacity to rise above the challenges that beset us. So if there's one thing I've learned from that difficult period in my life, it is this: never underestimate the power of a good laugh, and never underestimate your own ability to navigate the stormy seas. For it is in the face of adversity that our true character shines through, and it is in the depths of struggle that we find the seeds of triumph. And as I look back now, with a twinkle in my eye and a smile upon my lips, I can say that overcoming that hardship was not only a personal victory, but also a reminder that life's challenges, no matter how daunting, can be met with courage and a hearty laugh. So, my friend, let us embrace the difficulties that come our way, for they shape us, they mold us into stronger versions of ourselves. And as we journey through life's unpredictable voyage, let us remember that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of light, a flicker of hope, and the promise of triumph on the horizon.
Your pen name, Mark Twain, is derived from a riverboat term used to measure the depth of water, meaning safe to navigate. What led you to choose this particular pseudonym, and do you believe it accurately represents your literary legacy?
You've delved into a topic that tickles my fancy indeed. The origin of my pseudonym, Mark Twain, is as intriguing as it is whimsical. You see, in those early days of my scribblings, I found myself captivated by the enchanting world of riverboats, where the mighty Mississippi carried its cargo and dreams upon its currents. As a young steamboat pilot navigating those winding waterways, I became intimately familiar with the river's ever-shifting depths. Now, when you're steering a vessel laden with hopes and dreams, knowing the water's depth is of utmost importance. So it came to pass that the term Mark Twain became music to my ears, a call of assurance that the water was deep enough for safe passage. When the time came to don my writer's cloak and choose a name to embark upon the literary journey, I couldn't resist the siren song of the river. Mark Twain seemed a fitting choice, capturing not only my love for the river, but also symbolizing the depth of my intentions. With this pseudonym, I sought to navigate the currents of literature, safely delivering tales that would resonate with readers far and wide. Now, whether this name accurately represents my literary legacy, well, that's a question as tantalizing as a catfish at the end of a fishing line. You see, my dear friend, a writer's legacy is not something one can fully grasp or define in a mere breath. It is a tapestry woven through time, shaped by the perceptions and interpretations of readers across generations. What I do hope, though, is that Mark Twain has become more than just a name, but a symbol of a certain spirit, a spirit of adventure, of wit, and perhaps a touch of irreverence. It is a name that carries with a promise of storytelling that dances with laughter, insight, and the occasional poke at the follies of mankind. And if my works have indeed brought a smile to your face, a chuckle to your lips, or a thought to your mind, then I would like to believe that Mark Twain has fulfilled its duty, steering this ship of my literary endeavors into waters that are not only safe but also filled with delight and contemplation. So, my friend, as we sail down the river of words and ideas, let us cherish the playful pseudonyms that guide us, knowing that the true measure of our literary legacy lies not in a name, but in the impact our stories have on the hearts and minds of those who embark upon the journey with us. And with a twinkle in my eye and a nod to the river, I say, onward, let us sail, for there are tales yet to be told and depths yet to be explored.
Mark, as we wrap up this enlightening conversation, I want to give you an opportunity to reflect on your journey as an author and humorist. Looking back, what is the one thing you would want to be remembered for, and what advice would you give to aspiring writers who hope to leave their mark on the world?
The final leg of our delightful conversation, my friend. You've asked a question that requires me to peer into the depths of my ponderings and sift through the years gone by. As I reflect on my journey as an author and humorist, there is indeed one thing I would hope to be remembered for, a legacy that extends beyond the mere ink on paper or the laughter evoked by my words. If there is one cherished gift I wish to leave behind, it is the ability to see the world through a lens of empathy and understanding. You see, dear reader, in my writings I sought not only to amuse and entertain, but also to shed light on the human condition, the triumphs, the follies, and the struggles we all face on this grand stage of life. To be remembered as a writer who dared to challenge the status quo, who fearlessly spoke out against injustice, and who kindled within readers a spark of curiosity and compassion. This, my friend, would be a legacy worthy of remembrance. Now, to those aspiring writers who yearn to leave their own mark upon the world, let me share a few words of advice. First and foremost, I implore you to find your own voice, the one that resides deep within the chambers of your soul. Embrace your unique perspective and let it infuse every word you pen, for it is through authenticity that your words will resonate and find their way to the hearts of others. Secondly, do not shy away from the bittersweet dance of truth. As writers, we have a duty to hold a mirror up to society, to question the norms, and to challenge the comfortable narratives that permeate our world. In doing so, you may ruffle a few feathers, but remember that it is the ripples of discontent that often lead to the greatest waves of change. And lastly, my dear companions in ink and parchment, never underestimate the power of laughter. In a world often burdened by its own weight, a well-placed jest, a clever turn of phrase, can offer respite and rejuvenation. Humor, when wielded with care and wit, has the ability to break down barriers, to bridge divides, and to remind us that we are all but human, navigating this chaotic and beautiful journey together. So, my aspiring scribblers, let your words be the vessels that carry the torch of empathy, truth, and mirth. Write with conviction, write with heart, and write with a steadfast belief that your stories, however small or grand, have the power to touch lives, ignite minds, and leave an indelible mark upon the world. And as you embark upon this literary adventure, remember the words of a fellow traveler. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Farewell, my friends, and may your pens be forever guided by the winds of inspiration and the boundless horizons of imagination.
Mark, it has been an absolute pleasure delving into your remarkable life and mind. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights with our audience. Timeless Talks is grateful for your presence and the impact you've had on the world of literature. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our captivating interview with the extraordinary Mark Twain. Stay tuned for more thought-provoking discussions with the greatest minds of yesterday on Timeless Talks. Subscribe now to join our community of lifelong learners, and never miss an enlightening conversation. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom from the past to guide your journey towards a brighter future.